Welcome to the Breakout from Burnout podcast, Triumph Over Burnout Mum series. My name is Aisha Mohammed. I'm the creator and host of the podcast, and I am a certified life coach, and I help mums who are experiencing burnout to recover so that they can gain control of their lives, they can find their purpose and actually fulfill it with their purpose-aligned activities so that they can actually enjoy life again and serve people. This is really important, and it's one of the things that has come up when I've been doing these podcasts with women, is that they went through burnout, but through it they found their purpose and are serving other women. Okay, so it's really, really powerful. So why did I create this podcast? Well, burnout is real, and it was something that was very much germane to the workplace. Burnout, where employees become very, exhausted and kind of detached from their job role, where morale will be low in the office and they be taking time off frequently, wouldn't want to go into work, and it was a bad situation. So therefore, burnout was germane to the office. If you spoke about burnout, people would think office. But what has happened is that it's been recognized that burnout can show up in your life regardless to what you do or who you are. I've decided to help mums with this because mums have a real ton of responsibility in being mums. If you're a mum, whatever you want to do in life, you have to kind of factor in the fact that you have these little people and what you're doing may affect them, and that you are responsible for helping them to be the best little beings that they can actually be. They are indeed our future. So helping mums with burnout is a passion, and it's turned out, my tripod's doing something it shouldn't be, and it's turned out to actually be a mission, a life-saving mission, because if you don't know what it is that you are dealing with, okay, these different signs and symptoms like being exhausted and fatigued and feeling overwhelmed, like you're just not in control of your life, not feeling like yourself, and find it hard to be present with your children and those that you love, maybe dropping the ball at work, and you can't quite piece it together. But these are some of the signs of burnout. If you don't know what you're looking at,
you don't know potentially where it can lead you. And therefore, you might not realize the urgency to take action. So this is the idea behind the podcast, is that you'll take action once you realize what it actually looks like in your life and the fact that you can actually recover. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce you to a bold and courageous mum who has decided to share her story with you. And her name is Ronke. Ronke, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Ronke. I'm a mum of one. She's going to be 10 next month. I'm also a development lead. I work in health and social care, employability skills programs, and I'm an EDI, which is equality, diversity, and inclusion integration trainer. So yeah, I think that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I'm a very busy mum. If anyone knows the personality wheel, I'm a blue, and I'm also a Virgo, and I'm neurodiverse. So I'm a big ball of energy that definitely is very familiar with burnout.
Excellent. So tell us, how did your burnout start?
Um, when did my burnout start? Things changed when I had my daughter. I wasn't able to do things the way I used to do things. But when it became a real thing in my life was when I was studying my for my MBA, and I was being a mum, and I was working full time as well, and I was also running my business. So I've always been one that's quite busy. I've never got much free time, but it was the fact that I was now doing more than the hours in the day provided. There would be times where I'd be working during the day, then study at night, and then have to bake for trading over the weekend. So no sleep on a Friday night, no sleep on a Thursday night, while still doing mummy stuff. But then on a Sunday, when I finished trading, I'd come home and I'd literally crash. But there'd be times where we're not just talking about the weekend crash. I'd be on this consistent cycle of go for months or even weeks. And then when it comes to a halt, I'd be out for like 6 months flat. I can't do anything because I'm burnt out. It was just all the energy, all the life was sucked out of me, and I physically wasn't able to do anything. I saw the impact of my health. My skin was changing. My mental health was changing. My mood was, there was just so much that came from it. But that's pretty much an overview.
Wow. I mean, that's a quick break. This thing here. Hold on.
I'm waiting for mine to just slip off the stand that I put it on now. Yours is going funny.
It's just doing the most today. Right. I think it's cool now. Excellent. I mean, that's a heck of a story. I'm sure that, the listening audience, well, bless you. I'm sure that the listening audience can really, identify. And the thing is that depending on the type of person you are, you're more likely to actually suffer from burnout. So if you're a high achiever, okay, you like to set your height high, you believe in excellence, you always want to do your best, you are going to be a person who is push, 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 push. And many of us push, okay, to get the job done, to meet that goal, regardless of whom or what. But you've got to realize when you get to a state where you usually can gauge yourself and know, okay, so I'm tired or whatever, and I'm pushing myself, and I can kind of cope with this. Some of the physical things that I might feel, heart palpitations, dehydration, not sleeping well. I know what it's like when it's at that level. But when it starts to tip, and that feeling of control that you usually have, you don't have anymore. Yeah. And then you're going into other kind of phenomena happening to you.
Yeah.
That's when my way of coping, or my position of feeling like I've got this, is starting to slip. And that's when you feel like you're losing control. And that's when, you really have to stop and reassess things. And for many, they're forced to stop can't get out of bed, you know,
don't want to get out of bed,
don't want to get out of bed, chronically, ill, having illnesses every couple of weeks. You've got the flu, or you're suffering with aches and pains, and there's so many different, signs of burnout. But it's when you're at that point that you realize I actually need help, because I'm not myself anymore. And it's really important for us to pay attention to that, because sometimes, we like to encourage each other, and we're like, you got this, and it's almost like a culture that just says, keep going on, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
You have to know the signs. You have to be connected enough to your body and your mind to know that I'm not actually holding it together. This is surpassing that point of control. So tell me about your parenting. How did this burnout affect that?
I'm quite an active mum. So we used to do bike rides and stuff together, go out for just walks and whatever. But I just didn't want to do anything. It was always, I'd ask my siblings to come and take her out for me. I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to make breakfast. I just didn't want to do anything that required energy. And sometimes even making her a meal in the morning was requiring energy that I wasn't willing to give. I didn't want to give. I didn't have the energy to give. And that made me feel terrible, because I had this little person depending on me, and I wasn't able to do the things that I needed to do. And obviously this was quite a few years back, so she isn't as independent as she is now. So I almost felt like neglect was starting to creep in, and I was like, no, we've got to shake that off. So I needed to put myself in a better place, a better, mental place, a better well-being place. I had to take care of myself in order to take care of someone who was depending on me. And that's when the turnaround pretty much started. I had to do that work. It was a journey, and it was baby steps, but a move is better than no move.
Definitely. Yeah. Sizable chunks. One step is what we have to start with. That one step can change everything, and it's just really making the decision to actually do what's necessary. And some people don't know what to do, and let's face it, some people just don't know. They don't know where they can get help. Not wanting to talk to people about it for fear of judgment, and that guilt we spoke about, and shame, because, in society, when it comes to being a woman, I think a Black woman in particular, you do have the strong woman narrative. It is an expectation for you to be strong. Caribbean, African backgrounds, like, you're just supposed to do it. You're a woman. What are you talking about?
Don't complain about it. Just do.
Just get on with it. Make it happen. And I think we take pride in making it happen. We can be working a full-time job and at night be studying and doing something else on top of that as well, which takes a lot of time, takes a lot of energy. And lifestyles like that, there's not really much balance. And it kind of gives a false portrayal in a sense, because yes, at the end, when you've got your master's or whatever it is, and you've been able to achieve that while working a full-time job and being a mom and all of that stuff, it can be done. But how many people actually kind of open the door to letting you see what it really took? When the house is upside down, when you're in your bed and you can't really get out to do the things that's required, you're not present with your children. And
that was, I think, the stepping stone for me, actually. Sorry to interject. I used my business platform as a way of advocating for wellness whilst being a woman, whilst being a mother, whilst being a business owner, whilst being an entrepreneur, and doing all these things whilst being a student. And I use that for my platform, like, okay, I'm not consistent in my social media. I mean, I don't like social media on a normal day anyway. And I'm even worse now that I've got all these things going on, and you're expecting me to upload at a certain time every day, or, hey, she's not posted for however many weeks. And
Yeah.
I pop up out the blue with this paragraph like, look, I'm not perfect. I burn out and it's just too much. And then I'm adding all these things and I'm trying to give the perfect outlook. And I don't feel like there is enough of that in
Mhm.
whatever it is that we're doing. There isn't enough of that transparency
Exactly.
in across the board, whether it's
Mhm.
a business owner, whether it's as just life and you're struggling. People, well, social media has made it where people paint a perfect picture, and which is probably why I'm adverse to it now, and I don't really like social media because it's so easy to be strong-willed and strong-minded, but that subconscious drip
Mhm.
will almost start taking you to that side where, hold on, why doesn't my life look like that? You know,
Mhm.
and you start comparing yourself, and we don't need that because we're only feeding into that negative energy. But we aren't perfect. Nobody's perfect, and we're only human with emotions. And accepting that is the first step for me to a place of mental well-being. Mental well-being doesn't just exist in the mind. It exists in the physical form. It exists in your emotions, in the way you speak, in the way you take care of yourself, in your
Mhm.
finances, in your job. It has an impact on everything. And I don't think a lot of people have that awareness. Um, but yeah, social media was pretty much my first step into just having that accountability and
Mhm.
checking in on myself and saying, look, it's all right. I didn't post for 3 weeks. Nobody died. Like all my followers are still here, and here I am posting again and we move. But like, do people even remember people? I think me being who I am as well, being a perfectionist and wanting to be an overachiever, um, I put that immense pressure on
Mhm.
myself. And that goes back to my upbringing and being African.
Mhm.
I've always seen my mum do. I don't think my mum ever took time off apart from when my brother passed away, which was only recently. Prior to that, she would have her babies on the job. Like she'd go into labor on the job and then go into hospital and have the baby. But
Mhm.
before then, she was always working. And that woman never takes a sick day. She doesn't even know what sick means. You know, like
Mhm.
if she takes on holidays or annual leave, she's at home and she's just like, I can't do this. I need to go back into work. So my work ethic has come from her. And I've naturally, I didn't even recognize it until we had that pre-conversation,
Yeah.
that she was where I picked that up from because it
Right.
was just so standard to me. It was
Mhm.
just a thing you do. I'm not a bum. I'm not lazy. I just saw it as
Mhm.
me being a go-getter, an achiever. Yes, I want to do things, but there's balance. And that is literally my strapline in life now. Balance is everything. Nobody's saying don't do all these things and not be a go-getter and have all, be a serial entrepreneur or whatever it is you want to do in life. But balance is everything. And just honing in on that. So yeah.
Wow, that is so powerful what you've just shared, and there's a lot there. There is a lot there, and this is why it's so important for us to take the time to reflect,
Mm.
because we can connect the dots. You know,
Yep.
children watch; they watch more so than
Yeah.
they listen. They watch what their parents do, what their
Nosy
mom
little brats.
does.
Always
You
the
know,
business.
yeah, there is that. Yeah, but so
Yeah.
you had a role model there, and she was
Mm.
superwoman, and she was always on the go. So that
Yeah.
becomes your norm, and then we're driven to states of burnout, trying to reach
Mm.
that lofty place of
Yeah.
superwoman, supermom. And if we are not given the education and the tools to be able to bring about balance, then this is where we can find ourselves experiencing burnout.
Yeah.
Burnout is a sign of deeper issues because you've
Mm.
got the overachiever, you've got the perfectionist. These kind of behaviors that come out of being that is
Mm.
the push, 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 the go,
Yeah.
go, go.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. And you have to kind of unearth that and really look into that so that you don't end up burning out multiple times, because this is what tends to happen. A lot of people think that I'll incorporate a little bit of self-care and that will sort me
Yeah.
out. Well, It won't.
It's got to be life. It's got to be a habit.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
you have to look at why one is a perfectionist, why one always has to be on the go. There's reasons behind that. And once you unearth them, look at them, and tackle them, that's what's really going to allow you to stop the cycle of burnout. Because there's a thread, and there's a little bit of all of that in everything. So it's really good, some of the points that you raised there, because this is why it's so important that we kind of change the narrative and make things like listening to your body, paying attention to your thoughts and your feelings. You get feelings of resentment when you're serving everybody else and leaving yourself to last, and you're seeing yourself on decline. At some point, resentment pops up. That's the warning sign. As to say, there's no balance going on here. Let me take a look at what I'm doing.
Relationships are a good one for that, to be honest. The relationships are a good way of noticing that. Please don't drop. That was another stage of burnout for me, but not burnout in that sense, but more so self-care. I was pouring out love, but I guess that is a form of burnout, because I was giving all these emotions to a secondary person without giving myself that first. And at one stage, you do feel empty, you do feel burnt out, because there is no replenishment. So you have to check yourself, and it's just like, well, wait, what's going on here? No. I have to put myself in that place of priority, because then, regardless of what your external is doing, you remain elevated because you've taken care of you first. And it's that recognition of you are the worth of the things that you're trying to pour into somebody else. You are that value. You are that worth first, and putting yourself in that position, then nobody can really shake you. Do you get what I mean? But I mean, it might make you lonely, but you're not really lonely, because you're content and you're happy being by yourself, because nobody is devaluing you on what they interpret you to be or who they view you as, because you view yourself in a place of an elite position, a place of value, a place of worth first. But these are all things I've had to do for me.
The journey of loving yourself is continuous, but as you go further into it, it's so freeing, to and love yourself. And this is the thing with burnout, and that's why the title is Break Out from Burnout, because it can have you feeling trapped. It can have you feeling as though you don't have any control. So when you make a decision to actually take control and to start to love yourself and to start to listen to yourself, I mean, how do you feel when other people don't listen to you? And when it comes to burnout, you yourself are not listening to you. But answer the question: how do you feel when people don't listen to you?
I mean, it used to bother me. It doesn't bother me now anymore, because I understand how the standard person works now. Before, it was a case of, hey, why are you not listening to me? Listen to me. Hi, I'm here, trying to be seen, trying to be recognized all the time. It's just kind of like, no, that's fine. Don't want to listen, I'll take a step back. That's fine. I don't need you to hear me, because I hear me. And it's literally, as you just said, are you listening to yourself? Other people become secondary. They become, and there is that element of we're dismissive. But it isn't a case of that. I mean, everything comes with balance. There is a certain degree, and it can at some point turn into arrogance, or you're being egotistic. But it depends on the situation. But more times it's a point of self-care. When somebody is constantly not listening to you, or you're constantly in a position where you're feeling diminished, you retrieve and you protect yourself, and you protect your energy, you protect your mindset, you protect your feelings, and you just reevaluate. You reevaluate your position, your circumstances, and your surroundings, your friendship groups, even, not just relationships, your friendship groups, because it happens in friendship groups as well, where people are just can I have this from you? Can you do that for me? Da, 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 da. And I've been that friend where people are always come to me, oh, can I borrow this from you? Can I borrow that from you? Or can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? And I'm a person where if I love you, I'm down for you all the way. You know, if you're in my friendship group, there is no 1 foot in, 1 foot out business. I'm solid with you. So I used to always pour into people. Like, it wasn't just relationships, it was friendships as well. And there comes a point where people are just doing things for benefit. People are there with you for benefit because can they do the same for you? And you really have to take this into consideration. A lot of people have to take into consideration that you have to mimic the friendships that people are giving you. And look, we don't do that. I mean, if you're naturally a nurturer and a friendly person and an open person, we don't do that. That's not in our, what's the word I'm looking for? Empathic. Yes,
Yeah,
if you are an empathic person, that is not standardly our nature. We tend to overdo, over fulfill, overachieve, not just in work, not just in relationships, friendships also, in every aspect of life, we overdo, but it's recognizing that because I don't think it's a bad trait. It's a great trait for the right person and whatever circumstance it is, but it's recognizing when it now becomes one-sided. And
definitely.
you
Yeah,
know, putting
yeah.
yourself in.
And I think that kind of goes into the area of boundaries and core values.
Yeah.
If people you come across aren't in alignment with your core values, then those
Mhm.
are people that you're just going to have to disconnect from.
Mhm.
It's amazing how much being burnt out can be very harmful and break relationships.
Mhm.
Whether it's male female relationships or just friends, because the energy that they require, the communication that they require, when you're burnt out, you just don't have what it takes to
Mhm.
communicate, to do your part, so to speak. And it's something to pay attention to. I've spoken to
Mhm.
many women and doing some market research, and in order to start their journey of burnout, they have decided to actually leave their relationships, seeing the
Mhm.
relationship as being a part of the problem. Now, whether or not it was is another matter, but the fact is it's harmful to
Yeah.
relationships. And that's really to pay attention to. And it can
Mhm.
lead you to become isolated where you do not have the capacity to deal with people. So it's to be careful of those things, because then depression is something that is around the corner, and
Mhm.
burnout can, if not addressed, lead you to that place. So it's a very serious issue, and I think that we've covered quite a bit because it's generational, as you've
Yeah.
proven with your story. And this is why we must, culturally change the culture of this strong woman narrative. I'm not suggesting we be weak. We are most definitely resilient. But as April Mason said, who comes to the aid of someone who's strong? you
Yes.
know it's okay to say I need some help.
Yes,
It's
it is.
okay to say I'm not feeling, great today. Can you handle this for me? Can you
Yeah.
help me? Like, that is fine. It doesn't mean that you don't deserve the superwoman cape, right? It doesn't
Yes.
mean
It
that.
doesn't. It really
It,
doesn't.
it, it means you're recognizing that you have a need and you're taking action to meet that need.
Yeah.
um it's very destructive to want to serve everybody else and leave yourself
Self
till
out
love.
there, 100.
um,
Yeah.
because you can't, it's not sustainable. This is what burnout is teaching us. It's not sustainable.
Mhm.
At some point, like what you said with the listening thing, when you're not listened to, you tend to retreat, and that's what the body does and the mind
Mhm.
does. When you don't listen to yourself, it,
Mhm.
it shuts
Mhm.
down.
Yeah.
It says no more. So we've definitely got to address the burnout thing. And it can be done with the help of a coach much faster, but
Yeah.
also, you can take the steps to do whatever it is that you find works as
Yeah.
non-harmful to break out from burnout. So tell me, what are some of the things that you did aside from self-care to be able to get to the other side of burnout recovery?
I think the main thing is listening to myself. Um, I like to start my days quite early. So I get the most out of the mornings, while it's quiet and stuff. But recognizing that, okay, you've done enough. So if I've been online all day and I've been looking at my laptop and I've been in meetings all day, my eyes start to hurt. I do get headaches. I'm going for a rest. I switch down my laptop. Nobody should look for me. I'm gone. And I come back when I like. And if you want to ask me why I was disappeared for so long, I will answer you because my well-being comes first. My phone is on a focus mode when I'm trying to be focused. I don't feel bad for just disappearing anymore. I used to. I used to always feel like, oh no, they're watching me. No, I'm watching me. I need to watch me and I need to take care of me. So I might just sit there and say, oh, sod the rest of the weekend. I'm gonna have a movie with my daughter. Or I'm gonna sit in the bar for 3 hours and Netflix. Nobody should talk to me. Or I'm just gonna go and treat myself to a nice dinner. I'm not feeling bad for having gaps in my diary. Not every hour of the day needs to be filled. I don't want to have a conversation. I turn my phone off. Whoever wants to query me can query me when my phone is back on. Why was your phone off? I get those things and I'm just kind of like, well, wait, are we paying the same phone bill? Because I use my phone as I please, and sometimes I just need to not look at anything. I'll sit in my living room, the TV might be on, it's muted, or I sit in the living room, the lamp is on, the lights are off, the TV's off, and I'm just sitting there in darkness. My daughter will come and say, well, why are you sitting in the dark? Because I'm resting. Or I'll treat myself to a cheeky weekend of takeaway or whatever. But I do what makes me feel good now. And I think it's defining what makes you feel good. What makes people feel good is different and it varies. But then at the same time, you don't want something that makes you feel good in the short term that's going to have a negative impact on you in the long term.
Right.
So, things like drugs, like whatever, or, party drugs or going out raving. I will rave for 2 hours and be recovering for 48 hours. No, I'm not doing that anymore. But mine might be going to a spa weekend, or just catching up with an old friend. Those things replenish you. They feed you, they nourish you, and long term are helping you be healthy. It's not short term fixes. They have long term. Okay, maybe the junk food is the short term fix, but most other things is a long term fix. Like I can only imagine what the 3 hour baths have done for me. Like mentally, it's put me in a space of a relaxed mode. That was something I never used to do. Everything was always rush, 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 do, 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 and there was never just pace the day. Patience is not my strong point. And I've had to really incorporate that and try and be patient in everything, because when you are patient, you tend to approach life with an easy approach. It doesn't mean that you're just laid back and just waiting for everything to fall in place, but you're not so harsh on yourself. I'm a work in progress. I'm definitely not there yet. I'm definitely not where I want to be, but I'm recognizing the change. And I'm thankful for that because my daughter gets to enjoy me a lot more. Like before, what's half term? Half term, go to Nana's or go to your dad's, but I never would take time off because I'm just like, no, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And oh, other people can help you, half term. I still have to work sort of thing. But no, I split the half term up. I have a week at work, I have a week off. Now next week is her time. And I've had to make her understand that there needs to be balance. Like I've got a job to do, I'm going to do that, but then at the same time, I'm going to go out and have fun. And we've got activities booked in. And I don't feel bad about it. My team can do what they need to do. I'll delegate where it needs delegating, but it's the ability to be accountable and to own up to what your flaws are. We aren't perfect and we can't always wear the superwoman cape. Yeah, that is how I approach it now. Just
I
chill.
love
I'm just
that. I
on a
love
Zen mode all the
that.
time, just
Yeah,
chilling.
I can relate. I can relate to not at one stage not being able to relax, not knowing how to do that, almost
Mm.
hyperventilating at the thought and in trying to
Yeah.
relax. So I definitely can identify with that. And also, when it comes to the children, I think it's really important that we are transparent with them because they look
Yeah.
up to us so much. But it's to say, hey, look, I recently said, Mummy is a human being.
Right?
So what that means is, sometimes mommy needs some time. So, when
Yeah.
I'm taking that shower with my essential oils and stuff, I said, please do not disturb me. Mommy will have times
Mm.
where please do not disturb and, kindly respect that. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not feel bad about it. Let them understand that you too have needs. It doesn't mean you love them endless.
That's
It's
it.
just I have needs, and they will be able to identify they have needs. Sometimes when you watch your children, how they interact and scrap, sometimes, you look a little tired, darling. I think you need some rest.
Chill out.
Come in your room and just chill,
Always on go.
Exactly.
You can't blame them because they're balls of energy. But my daughter saw
Exactly.
me working. What was it, Monday? I spent all day in meetings on Monday, and then she wanted me to cook. Okay, cool. Let's go and cook. I've gone straight from work, finished cooking. Okay, mommy, can we play a game? I'm like, what? No, we cannot play no games. I'm gonna rest here and sleep for an hour. And she was like, fine, I'll pay by myself. This me, yeah, you will entertain yourself this evening. And I just didn't feel bad about it. It's just like I said, I've allocated you days in the week. Can you wait until those days for us to play games? Or when I haven't just spent 8 hours talking to people all day. It's just like letting them understand that knows that for me, when she gets to her adulthood, she knows how to manage balance and manage
Mhm.
time effectively. And you don't always need to be busy. Have a plan for the day, but make sure you also have time for downtime. She didn't have downtime because she's on half term, but I
Mhm.
needed downtime. And I don't feel bad about that. And it might take her some time to get used to it and get her mind around that fact. But I'm a human being, like you said. Mummies are human beings, but that's another pressure that the world has put on us
Mhm.
is that we're mums and we can do everything. We're supposed to be wise. We're supposed to be chefs. We're supposed to be caretakers. We're supposed to be domesticated. We're also supposed to be I don't know, the grocery shopper and all these other 10,000 other tasks that we're supposed to be in roles in one person, but we are human first. Before I'm a woman, before I'm a mother, I am human first. And it's sharing that fairness and appreciating that we can burn just as much as the next person.
Mhm.
You know, we're just more skilled at it. So, that's it.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. I can just see that this is so helpful for so many mums because there's
Yeah.
so much shame that mums carry
Mm.
in not being able to voice some real feelings
Yeah.
about
And
what
such a
comes with
problem.
motherhood and some of the struggles. Children are a gift and a blessing, but it really does require us as mums to step our game up in so
Yeah.
many ways that
Yeah.
nobody really tells you about until you're in it.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's when these things come to
No
light.
transparency.
Yeah,
Like when
yeah.
you're up all night with a crying baby and then the mister wants his breakfast made in the morning, but it was like I was nursing the little one all night and it's just like, oh, but your mum.
But the thing
Like
is,
it's
yeah,
crazy.
the thing is, it's really up to the core values again, and for the
Yeah.
individual to decide how they wish to live their life, how they wish to parent, what tone they're going to
Mm.
set,
Yeah.
because we're shaping and molding these children from when they are very young, and once they're of an age of sense to start talking to them about things to do with taking care of yourself and
Yeah.
boundaries and stuff like that. You see, we have to make it an open conversation
Has
and
to be. Yeah.
education for people to know, like, in order for us to function and be whole and be happy, this is how my life has to be. So
Yeah.
if you have a partner that has the mindset that a woman must do everything, That's a mindset that's going to have to change. These things have to be made clear at the very beginning, or you'll find yourself in this type of situation. So once the mindset starts to shift and you know yourself more and what you need, that's when you can start to construct that lifestyle, that is going to allow you to be balanced, to achieve balance. So we really are in a great position now that we've been educated through our life experiences to, set the tone, make the rules. Coach Stormy, I love her. She says new rules, as to how you really want to live your life. And this is what I talk about, living your life on your own terms. Who are you now? What's your identity? And if we're going to talk about doing things differently, I guess it's some reinvention taking place here. So who is that woman that you really know you are inside, that you want to release and be,
channel into that person?
Out in the open. How does she show up? How does she run her lifestyle? How does she work? How does she run her business? How does she do that? And who do you need to be to embody that and actually be her? And it's doing things differently, not necessarily how society says, but in a way that works for you, in a way that is non-harmful to you and those that you care about, but allows you to give time to yourself, to love yourself, to nurture yourself, and be present with others. When you strike that balance, you have so much more to give, and your life is enriched because you're there, you're there full to enjoy it. So this has been a really great conversation. I've enjoyed you immensely, and I thank you for joining me on this podcast and telling your story. I think it's really, really
good. Having me.
Oh, you're welcome, my love. And, as I said, I help women like yourself to be able to break out from burnout. And if you've watched this and listened and you're thinking to yourself, well, okay, I am burnt out. I really want to see what I can do about this, but I'm not quite sure, where to start. And I feel that I need a helping hand. Then by all means, reach out to me. Here on Facebook, my personal profile, Aisha Mohammed. Send me a friend request, send me a DM, and I'll get back to you. You can check out my website, bestyouinmotion.com. And I'm also over on Instagram, Breakout from Burnout. So, just reach out, and I'm here, and we can have a chat and see how we can work together to break you out from burnout. I'll be back again next week with another courageous and bold mom telling her burnout story and how she was able to triumph over it next week. Catch me every Tuesday, 1 p.m. BST. And until then, take care.
Bye-bye.